lack of software updates. I've had one in the 5 months I've had the car, which is not acceptable. If you've got a car that does over-the-air software updates, you should be providing software updates on the car. It's as simple as that. Hello and welcome along, guys, to another video with myself, the EV bloke Sean. Yeah, I just want to give a 5-monthly update on the vehicle and just give my general feelings on the car, my experience of it in those 5 months, etc. And for the best part, it's pretty good, I guess, really. Just a few niggly things. But something that's come to light in this warmer weather we've been having here in the UK, where we've been getting kind of 22 to 24 degrees. So beginning to see the optimal temperatures of the vehicle and everything. Something I've noticed, and that is that I'm actually not really getting very much more range or anything like that. That's the first point. And secondly, the HVAC system is weird. I noticed this a bit in the winter. I've heard it commented on from many other times. If you don't follow, or well, you probably do follow, if you follow Beyond Nylands in Norway, is a great YouTuber, of course, and you know, does every car going that comes out. Well, he a while back done a couple of videos on this vehicle, and he found that there was a lot of heat scavenging and a lot of temperature scavenging by taking air from the cabin to the now this is meant to be fitted with a heat pump, don't forget, scavenging heat to the battery. And I strongly recommend going along and watching those videos because they're very interesting. In actual fact, he actually wrote a letter to BYD from the results he found around that. What I'm starting to find out with this car, in my opinion anyway, is that this is a 200-mile range car, winter or summer, because I'm not getting anything more in the summer. Please, if you're getting more, please drop us a line. Let us know what you're getting on your vehicle. But I don't see any difference. And when you fill it up with juice, even to 100%, what you're going to find is you'll just see the 260 come up, which is the generic amount. It doesn't seem to have an optimal way of projecting what you're going to get due to the efficiency you drive either, or the temperature doesn't seem to affect it. Now, I think what I've come to the conclusion thereon is because even in the winter, it's pretty good what you're getting for what range you're getting for the size of battery and all those kind of things. In my opinion, is that it is taking away heat. It's trying to keep that battery at all times at an optimal working temperature. It doesn't really seem to matter if you have the heating on or off. Those things don't seem to affect this car. It's really strange. When I had my Ioniq before, I mean, if you started meddling around with the temperature, if you put it up a little bit in the winter, you'd see your range drop. You don't see that on this. And you don't even seem to what's the word? Get your teeth in, Sean. You don't seem to even experience that as a car in terms of actual, you know, when you're going on longer trips and stuff like that. But whether you're doing town driving, motorway drive, it just seems to give you that same kind of average mileage. But what I'm noticing is that the cooling system in here, like I've got the air conditioning on now. I hope it's not being picked up on the mic, by the way, but it's too warm to just have no air vents on, I'm afraid. The temperature I'm feeling here is actually coming out warm. Now, I shouldn't need to be driving along or doing a few miles for it to cool down the temperature. It should be able to, you know, do it that way. But it's not doing it, and I think it's not doing it because, as I say, it's taking the cool air in the air conditioner and using that to cool down the battery. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because if it's fitted with aircon, why am I not getting air conditioning half the time in here? Sometimes it's so cold I have to turn it up because it goes really, really cold, and you think, wow, that's freezing, you know. And you turn it up and you put it a couple of degrees up, then it warms up a bit, and you put it back down again, and it stays at the same temperature. It doesn't actually really seem to affect it very much. So it's just some kind of weird things like that happening with this car. So in my 5-month assessment of this vehicle, of this BYD Atto 3, is it's an okay car. You know, I've got actually no issues with it. It hasn't had to go back for anything. I've had it 5 months now. You know, I literally haven't had to take it in for anything. The software seems to be working fine on the entertainment system. Everything's working fine. I've got no bing. I've got no reason to take the car in to say, "Oh, can you have a look at that? That's making a noise anywhere or anything." So that's all good. But like I say, there's some things that are concerning me a little bit. One is the lack of software updates. I've had one in the 5 months I've had the car, which is not acceptable. If you've got a car that does over the air software updates, you should be providing software updates on the car. It's as simple as that. Hasn't had over the air updates in the apart from that one, as I say, which was right when I first got it, which was probably just one that was going to come out anyway. And yet I think there's so many things that it needs software updates on. It needs software updates on the navigation system. It doesn't navigate to chargers. It's got no brain in there for me to be able to go on a long trip and it be able to understand the battery and understand the management system within it, to then take me to a to then take me to try and, you know, get a what's the word? It's got no way of actually navigating me to chargers, basically. You know, which Tesla and Porsche, so many makes now. A lot of the German cars do it, and they do it quite well, where it'll bring you in with, say, 4 or 5% to a charger, and it will vary as the journey goes on according to elevation, how you're driving, etc., etc., etc. Well, that's what we all need in our electric cars. You know, we want to be able to do that, and also to tell you how many people are at chargers and stuff like that. Well, okay, that's maybe a bit off in the future, but at least it should have that facility. It doesn't. So I would need to use Zap Map or some other mapping system to be able to work out roughly what percentage I've got left, and then look around to see, so okay, then I've got about another hour's worth of driving, so I need to go to this charger, and I shouldn't have to do that. Also, the navigation system is just rubbish anyway. It just really is. Takes you all down the wrong roads and everything like that. So that's pretty poor. The information you've got in front of you, I want to have miles per kilowatt. None of this, you know, miles averaging for 50 kilometers and stuff like that, which is just no use to me. This is a Chinese car. It's being sold in Europe now. It's being sold in the UK here. I want the UK specs for that on there. Shouldn't be that hard to do that, you know. They give me a right-hand wheel drive, so give me the proper instrument things in front, and give me real-time data and information, whether it be in the entertainment screen or on there, to let me know how I'm going with the battery, because there just doesn't seem to be any way of really gauging that. So that's a real irritant as well, you know. And then, as I say, and then you've got this HVAC system with the aircon and everything, which just seems kind of weird, really. In the summer, it's a little bit too cold all the time, the car, and in the winter, it's now showing to be a little bit too hot. So it's taking that heat and that coolness away from the driver, and probably dealing something to do with the cooling system within the car. I don't know how it's working, but as I say, I'm not an engineer or anything like that, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that's what's actually going on, because otherwise it doesn't make sense why, you know. So software updates for the HVAC system, that's another one, you know. So it needs a lot of software updates, I think, but we're not actually getting them, and so that's one of the things I'm very disappointed. I will reach out to BYD and feed you back on what I find out as to why perhaps that is, because it shouldn't be happening like that. It really shouldn't. And it's disappointed that it is. So yeah, so that's kind of where I am with it, really. Just a short update today, but just to explain those few things, really. As I say, outside of that, the drive-wise, it's all okay. As I say, I've got no concerns about the car as such in terms of safety or any of that stuff. The other day, of course, you probably see that video by now. We we've done the test for the cruise control. I'll do another motorway one of that so we can really see it in its best environment. So we'll go down the motorway. Maybe next week we'll do that one so we can see what we're getting down there. And I'm probably going to do a summer range test with the car as well. So we'll do a proper summer range test just to make sure that I'm not wrong in terms of, because I'm working it out over from when I top up to 100% down to low state of charge. The mileage I'm getting seems to be roughly the same as in the winter, which is just baffling really, because it shouldn't be the case. Not unless that's the way it's been set up, you see. So it's controlling it at all times to give you that. I have to say, it's not a car which you get in, put the heating on or put the aircon on or radio. It's not a thing you put anything on, you start thinking, oh my gosh, the range is going to drop now, because there doesn't seem to be any change on there, and it doesn't seem in real life. It doesn't seem any change either. So that's all good. So yeah, so that's it for this one. Just a quick update there. But let me know in the comments below if you're having any issues with your HVAC system, with your aircon. Are you getting starved of aircon in your car in terms of the temperature? I've got it set to low, and it's actually blowing out quite warm air now. I can feel it. Yes, I'm stationary, I'm not moving, but it shouldn't really affect it. I've never did it in my Ioniq or other cars I've been in. So it's just, the system should be set up to give me the temperature I need in here, simple as that. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing is, there's no conserve mode. There's no way to leave this vehicle on. So if you've got an animal like a dog, or you just are waiting somewhere at a charger, you don't want to have the whole thing switched on, but you need the cool air and stuff. It's showing up a bit more in the summer. This one I meant to mention this in a few videos back, and I forgot. So it's got no, like in a Tesla, you have dog mode, or in they call it concessionary mode or something like that, conservatory mode or something like that in Ioniq cars, where you can have it set to be on with the aircon and everything, but the vehicle's not actually on, so you couldn't actually drive it off or anything like that. So it's just an intermediate setting where it will use power from the main battery, not the 12-volt battery, but it will use it to use those facilities. So this is either on or off. And that's another, I think, quite in 2024, that's also not acceptable. So that's another thing that they could probably do by software update. I don't know. I don't think it's a hardware issue. So give us all these things, BYD, please. These are not the cheapest of cars, and they're not the most expensive either. They're kind of a middle range type of vehicle, but we still need to have the right things going on in here in terms of just the basics, which you'd expect from just any electric car now, which seem to be missing on this BYD for me, Atto 3. Maybe it's there on the other cars. I can't speak for those cars at the moment. I'm still trying to get hold of vehicles, other BYDs to trial. I feel I should stay on this. Sometimes I just feel like, should I make any more videos? I don't know, because but I still feel like there's so few in the UK giving a UK perspective of these vehicles. So that's why I keep making videos, really. And I'm almost like a lone ranger in that respect. I've had no feedback from anyone else doing all of this. I mean, if you know of anyone who's doing this, it'd be nice, because it'd be nice to collab and bang heads and discuss and do some things together, maybe. Just bounce off each other. So, but it'd be interesting to see, even if I have any Australian, which I do, viewers, to hear what you're getting in terms of your aircon when you're driving around, because obviously Australia is a much hotter country than here. So for much longer periods of the year, you need your aircon to be working well. So I'd be very interested to hear if you're also getting blowing hot air, which you're actually getting right now. Actually, hot air is coming out, and it's set to low on the temperature gauge. So that's not good. That's not good. I'm not actually happy about that. So I'll reach out to BYD. I'll feed you back what I find out. And as I say, let me know in the comments if you've had any experiences like this. I'll be more than keen to hear those. And as always, as I always tell you guys, if you want any videos made about this car, about specific things that I've not covered and you'd like to see covered, please put them in the comments below or email me. I think my email is in my description on the channel. Email me, and I'll by all means try and do the best I can to do a video on it. Anyway, you have a good weekend, as it's going to be now, and I shall catch you on the next one.